Welcome back to the Crooked Spine Show. Do you know the leading cause of death in the United States? This being May 2023. According to CDC, it is heart disease. How to prevent heart disease? We want to make sure we know our genetic factors. We know our lifestyle factors too. We want to know actually how to change those factors over time to live a healthier life, maybe diet, exercise, even taking supplements also. In today's talk with Jerry Baker, we discuss actually what these factors are and how are people in other countries healthier, have less heart disease, and how do we change these factors over time to make our lifestyle match a healthy heart. So enjoy the talk, my friends. Jerry's a phenomenal source of information. He has his own show, but also great references too. Links are in his show along with their previous podcast, along as a video or a podcast format. Enjoy my week, my friends. Have a healthy heart. We'll see you next week. Welcome back to Rick and Shine. So my audience, we're here with Jerry Baker. He is my new resource for information. Today, this month, February 2023, is Heart Month. We talk about the heart, but realize his resources, and you'll see the links in the show notes too, give you a lot of ways to connect with him through his resources to get and stay healthy. I even did his personal assessment tool at the very end. We'll talk about that also too. That walks you through what you may be deficient in vitamin mineral wise to get your body healthy before you have a health problem or a health condition like a heart attack or heart disease. All right. And I'll walk through my personal story also. So Jerry, walk through why did you make health your business and your passion?
Well, thanks very much for having me on, Dr. Tony. I have to say, I really listen to your show. I really enjoy the opening music. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, big James Brown's fan, but
feel good, baby. Feel good.
I feel good. As I knew it. For 75, I tell you, I feel good. So I don't know much background you want. I'll just give you a little bit, just because it was I guess my journey into wellness and the passion I have for it is kind of a long journey, but I'll keep it fairly short, I hope. I graduated from Calvin University in 1970, last century, with a BS in science, and then I entered the medical technology program at a local hospital. For your listeners, medical technologists are, the guys in the laboratory in the hospital that analyze your blood and urine and other bodily substances, you would say. I was in the middle of that program when I got this really neat letter from the government that said I qualified and I was invited to join the armed forces.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe invite isn't the right word, but I thankfully at that time the Navy was commissioning medical technologists, so I convinced the draft board to let me finish my program, and then I was commissioned in the Navy to run blood banks. So I was sent to Beaufort, South Carolina, where I ran the blood bank there for 4 years, and I found I was really enjoying it. I was enjoying healthcare and learning more about it. So they sent me to school to get my master's in clinical pathology from the College of Medicine at Ohio State. And then my 3-year commitment grew to 27. And so I retired after 27 years in the Navy doing healthcare in the healthcare field. And I spent another 15 years or so with supporting the Defense Health Agency. But then I was, at one point, I was introduced, and this is a long story. I won't tell it, but it's an interesting story. I'll tell it to you later. But I was introduced to a weight loss program. And by the time I turned 60, I couldn't lose weight anymore. Like I used to. It was very easy. Just stop eating potato chips and snacks and, exercise a little more. But I was introduced to a program called Shackley 180, and I lost 40 pounds. And I found out later, too, that that program is set up such that I probably lost, I'm going to estimate, maybe I lost 45 pounds of fat and put on 5 pounds of muscle, which that's the problem with most weight loss programs. 40% of what you lose is lean muscle, and then you don't have the muscle anymore to burn the calories. So, yeah. Yep. So we started hearing people say, hey, you guys really look great. I had to laugh because it's kind of like, you guys didn't look so good before, but now you
Yeah,
do.
yeah, that's what it means. But yeah.
Yeah. So I just started introducing people to, I was working with a woman in Shackley. And I introduced these people to her, and she started working with them, and they were losing weight. And anyhow, at one point, Becky, who is my quote upline, invited me to go to a meeting in New York, a Shackley meeting. And I thought, because she wanted me to do the business, I thought, I don't know.
I
But
mean,
we decided to go.
company, you have a good job, you're doing well. So why would you want another business, right?
Yeah, well, I was at that time I was getting close to retiring from the company I was working with. So, I was looking for something to do in retirement. I mean, I suck at golf, so I couldn't do that every day.
Even when you play golf, you still suck at golf. So that's my everyday problem.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, I tell people I go out on the golf course with clubs and balls if they ask me if I play golf. So, so I went to this. I went to this meeting in New York. They kind of bribed us into going. They said we're going to see the Jersey Boys while we're there on Broadway. So I thought, oh, cool. We'll go to the show, and we'll go in the meeting, and we'll sit in the back of the room and sneak out.
Yep.
I was, I told you, part of the reason I told you the story I did about my background is I was blown away by the science behind everything they do. I mean, every product they produce, they back it up. If it can't pass the science, it doesn't go on the market. And then I was blown away by some of the testimonials. Although testimonials can be kind of problematic, but a lot of times people feel what you tell them they're going to feel. But one of the things, the science. One of the scientific studies that they did or had done was at University of California at Berkeley. They asked Berkeley to compare long-term Shackley users with people who used another company's multivitamin or people that didn't use anything. And Berkeley was happy to do it. They said, "Look, what we find was what we find, and that's what we published." Shackley said, "Okay, that's all right. We're confident." So they looked at 10 different disease markers in the blood of everybody in the study. In every single disease marker, there are 10 of them, the Shackley users were significantly better than everybody else in the study. I mean, I've got a graph that shows a difference, like at the age of 50, all these people you start experiencing, those, oops. I hate this, the video. Every single one, by the time you're 50 or 60 is when you start experience those diseases that you always said, well, that'll never happen to me. The Shackley users were significant, and the line was very shallow. The number of undesirable health outcomes was amazing. And so I thought, wow, I'm really impressed. And I knew what it was doing for me. And then when I saw the science behind it, that's when I started to develop a passion, because I thought, wow, I could help so many people to feel better, like you. And we talked earlier about, you can spend some money now, choose to spend some money now to obtain better health or wellness and maintain that, or you can be forced to choose to spend a lot of money later to get your health back. And so that's been my message. I'm doing educational marketing, just going out there and telling people how they can achieve health by natural means. Now, you may or may not know this, but the company was founded by Dr. Forrest Shackley. Dr. Forrest Shackley is a graduate of Palmer School of Chiropractic in the early 1900s.
This is how this goes. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, 1915, he created the first multivitamin in the United States. There was a Dr. Funk in Poland, I think, who beat him to it. But, but his view was always, nature holds these secrets to good health, and we can unlock those secrets by using science. And that's what he did. I mean, and so he was obviously a chiropractor. He gave his patients his multivitamin. It was a liquid. And then he got ready to retire in 1956, and his patient said, "Well, where are we going to get this, this multivitamin?" So he formed Shackley Corporation in 1956. So they've been in business for whatever that is, 67 years. I think it did the math earlier.
Well, long enough to make it a real company, not a 5-10 year program, which is great.
Right. Yeah. So it's not one of those fly-by-night companies. They start up and they grow like crazy, and then 5 years later they're gone. They've been in business for 67 years, and just still operating in that principle that the nature holds the secrets to good health. And so, like I say, I think I answered your question, which was, how did I become passionate about healthcare?
It's having results first. Okay, it does work for me. Now seeing the science behind it to back it up, and continuous science, like I said, the research keeps going and going and going to how do we improve this? How do we make this better? So now you're seeing more results with people who are better longevity with less health risk, like heart attacks, like heart disease, because their body's staying healthy. The goal, I think, is how do we make our body healthy naturally before we have a condition where we can actually avoid that, where we lose our quality of life, and then nothing works. Then we're trying just to survive versus living a healthy, higher quality of life with energy that we shouldn't lose just because we're aging.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 75. I mean, I won't say I have. Well, I think I have quite a bit of energy, a lot more than some people, like 20, 30 years younger, because they're struggling with all these problems that they don't have to have.
Well, sometimes we'll get in the show too, when we get into the show. Sometimes we're forced down one rabbit hole of how to stay healthy, which may not be good for us long term. So going to show notes too. I like your background, I like your passion, I like how you've kind of researched it, and being a scientist yourself too gives you that credibility. What are the risks right now in America for heart disease? What are the American heart disease risks?
Oh, wow. I tell you, in the the early years, 20th century, like 1900, heart disease was the fourth most common cause of death, the trailing infectious diseases, and pneumonia and tuberculosis. Today, it's the leading cause of death in the United States. I mean, that's 1 in 5 deaths in 2020. Every 40 seconds or so, someone suffers from a heart attack. So what are the risks? Now, do you mean?
If anything, just the current, that basically answers the question of have things improved or not improved, in the sense where people are either not getting healthier or there's higher things causing heart attacks and heart disease.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, leading, kind of gets to a question you had asked me about
risk factors.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
The risk factors also too.
Yeah. Yeah. What are the leading risk factors? Well, one thing that I was going to talk about briefly was, I think we had talked about this earlier. There's just recently, scientists discovered I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Tsimane. It's Tsimane. People who live in Bolivia, in the Amazon, they have the best indicators of cardiovascular health ever reported. And this is not like, hey, we just discovered this berry and that grows in the rainforest of Bolivia, and if you take this berry, you'll be healthy forever. There'll be a company formed that's it's processing this berry, and they'll be up for 5 years and then be gone. But no, they found that the two factors that have a major impact is diet and lifestyle. I mean, that's simple. I mean, I can't get any simpler than that.
Doing like you said, that place in Bolivia, they do it long term as their lifestyle not
Right.
just as a fad or it's a long-term benefit when you do the work to keep your life. I call it boring because you do the same thing routinely all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and we can't all live like they do. You know, they're hunter gatherers,
Mhm.
and they do. You know, they're farming. They're a forager, horticulturalist population, is what
Mhm.
the article states. Um, but you know, again, the key is the diet and lifestyle. I mean, it's pretty simple. Now, how do you cultivate that good diet? You know, and how do you cultivate that lifestyle? Is a commitment. So I mean, like I say, it's not something you can eat every day from, you know, some exotic berry or something like that. It takes work, and sometimes, you know, people are like they're one of the key. I'm kind of getting off script here, but you know, one of the factors, of course, is weight. Americans, I've got a quote here somewhere, but
Good.
you know, excess body weight really has become a global epidemic, and in the United
Mhm.
States is no exception, and that is a killer for, you know, for your heart. Um,
That's a huge
so
sign of how your body's doing overall, right? I mean, that's
right,
an outward sign of how your body's doing.
yeah, and it's a reflection of lifestyle. It's a reflection of diet. I mean, again, I've got so much stuff I can't remember it all. I can find it if you want it. You
And
know,
then part of it too is we talked about before we talk about get more in depth with lifestyle and routines and diet and exercise is considered is heart disease, heart attack considered genetic, where we're born predisposed to, or something where it's lifestyle based. We haven't talked about this already too,
sure,
more hereditary or more genetic per se. And talking from a medical perspective versus a I'll call it a real world perspective.
right. I think certainly there are people who have a genetic predisposition to that. I mean, I've got, you'll probably, I guess you're going to publish links and so on my blog. I've
I
got a
saw that.
post of, a post about a webinar that's coming up Wednesday night where they talk about, you know, some factors like cholesterol. High cholesterol is a factor.
Mhm.
Blood pressure is a factor. And there's another testimonial from a gentleman who's, you know, he was a walking time bomb. Just what he's done in terms of improving his lifestyle to decrease the chances of a heart attack. I mean, I have a client whose father passed away at the age of 28, I think it was, and I mean
Mm.
that's when you kind of get past your teen years and you begin to realize you're not going to live forever. That became a concern to him. You know, that's obviously in his genes, but just something that because you're genetically, and I think you know this, you're genetically predisposed to something. It's not. It's not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do anything about it. And this client I have, I mean, he just started, you know, living healthily, eating healthily, taking a lot of dietary supplements and so on. He's probably 60 now. Um, so yeah, there are some people I think are predisposed to that. Um, you know, one
Well,
example that came to mind. I'm sorry.
yep. And my thing is, in my personal story, I had a heart attack 3 years ago. I
Oh,
did. I have genetic component where I only have you have two heart arteries. You have a right coronary and a left circumflex. I
right.
don't have a left circumflex. I was born
Really?
without the left circumflex. So I had
Wow.
mine at 45. But the doctor said if I didn't have a healthy lifestyle, I would have had it 10 years ago.
Yeah, sure.
Even though I had it, I had some stents put in, a somewhat simple surgery, not the Widowmaker, not the major one where they cut up on your chest, things like that too. But now
Yeah,
it's okay. How do I know I have the hereditary factor? But through epigenetics, make sure that my lifestyle from continuing on becomes, if you want to call it, more conscious of staying healthy, because now I'm more prone for that.
sure. And I don't think it's genetic with me, but before I started, you know, before I discovered some of these things I just talked about,
Mhm.
uh, I ended up having two stents. One was in the Widowmaker, and the other one was in one of the arteries I branched off of that. And But subsequent to then, I've, I say I've discovered and started to implement this healthy lifestyle. And it's, my heart, every time we go, I go in for an echocardiogram. I always get a 2 thumbs up. Everything's good. So, so whether it's,
well,
yeah, go ahead.
but it's doing the work that once you have the event, okay, you've had that. Now, how do you switch your mind? Okay, this is my chance to either live a healthy lifestyle or not. When I tell people, change your lifestyle because now you've had the events, you're more prone for it again, or make your peace with God.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it comes down to, right? I mean, and some people, and it's up to you to choose, but now's your window to go, okay, now you've had this done. Now you have to make a choice what you want because now your life has got really short. Now your risk factors got really high.
Yeah. And, like I said, I mean, there's, lost my train of thought there, but, whether if it's genetic, at least, it doesn't, necessarily mean that it's going to happen. There are things that you can do. And for you, that was good. That was a positive thing that you experienced that.
Yeah. With all your material, and you offer videos, you offer the articles, you offer people a chance to change lifestyle versus some people are told medically also, now you're stuck in a bunch of medication every day and you have to watch what you do, but they're not told specifically what to do.
Exactly.
So that then they're more scared to try anything else. They're told because you've had it, now we have to be very careful. I go, okay, how do we change things versus do the same thing you've done before?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a friend whose doctor told him that by the time you're 60 years of age, you should be on probably 6 prescriptions. And so I should be on 7. I should be on 7 or 8 prescriptions. I'm on none.
Yeah.
And I attribute it to the fact that I'm taking these dietary supplements that are, Shaklee is the most clinically proven wellness company in the world. Now, anybody could say that, but, I can scientific evidence to back that up. And it's made a difference. And, I guess for people not like you who've had an experience or like me and what I've gone through, people who haven't.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. It's kind of like, I call it the strategy of hope. I hope I don't get sick, but if I do, I'll go to the doctor and hopefully he has a good chemical for me to take and then I'll feel better. I hope it's not a strategy, Yeah.
It's like, and I tell the people, it's like, you want to wait till you have, like you had mentioned, you have no choice at that point, or are there ways you can stay healthy, which again takes work, but there's work we should be doing to stay healthy because we can't live in Bolivia.
Yeah.
We don't if they have internet in Bolivia. I'm not sure if they can do podcasts like these in Bolivia.
Yeah, I know. It might not even have cell phones. Oh my God. How are we going to survive?
Which may not be a bad thing. May be the best life in the world. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. And let's go over the 4 risk factors you talked about one of your articles too, that you put in your blog and also your Facebook page too. What are those 4 factors again, and in detail that your research has showed to be the high risk factors for someone with heart disease or prone for heart attack?
Sure. Yeah. And it's not my research. I mean, you can go to CDC, and I think, anyhow.
Well, you make people's lives easier by having the research available to them from your sites, from all your platforms.
Yeah. And again, it's kind of boring. It's kind of repetitive, but it is unhealthy diet and physical inactivity and obesity. And the things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and so on. And then smoking, which is another area that can't help you with that. I mean, you're going to have to do that on your own. But so, and matter of fact, you mentioned we're airing a webinar this Wednesday evening, which you can find a registration on my blog. But we're going to talk about the impact of high blood pressure and high cholesterol and what you can do about that. I mean, I'm sorry, these are some of the risk factors, and they're exacerbated by the fact that we're eating. I go to McDonald's every now and then to get a sausage egg McMuffin. I'm sorry. I mean, but
that's your sin. Got it.
Yeah, you do everything in moderation, which makes it easier to follow if you're not feeling like I never can do this, I never can do that. But all things in moderation. But Yeah, those things, the obesity and the unhealthy diet, the unhealthy lifestyle, those are things that can lead to high blood pressure and high cholesterol, which, those are killers, for
Well, a
your
lot of
heart.
it is those things that I've done my own research from my personal experience. Is it's like having a car, right? It has the old cars that at least they have gauges telling you when it's running too hot, your
Yeah,
oil's too low.
yeah, yeah,
They're giving you gauges that those gauges are telling you, hey, look, there might be a problem, get it checked out. Might be a problem, get it checked out. At that point, you don't check it out. What happens to your car's engine? It dies. But giving you all these warning signs that can help you get it treated before it becomes either uncorrectable or now you need a major refurb, which is called the Widowmaker, which is called getting all your valves checked out for one, too,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is huge.
yeah.
And then the fourth one, I think, from your article too, why is sleep so important to a healthy heart? Why sleep?
Yeah, I mean, I think, can't remember exactly what I said in there, but 8 hours of sleep a night is sufficient for most people, except my wife, who's like 10. But you know, but anyhow, but yeah, I mean, you got to give your heart a chance to rest, your body a chance to rest. I mean, that's what sleep is for, is to the chance for your body to recuperate and regenerate cells and that sort of thing. Just brain cells, for instance. I mean, if you well, anyhow, that's another topic, just about keeping your brain healthy. But the great hydration is so important in that regard. But yeah, I mean, if you ran your car's engine for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, yeah, it might be okay as long as you keep replacing the oil. But you got your body needs rest. And that's why God created it. If you ignore that, one of the things that results from that is stress. And that's another thing I didn't mention, but stress is a big factor in heart health. And trying to live a life, trying to de-stress, taking time throughout the day to, take 15 minutes and go do something else instead of focusing on your computer for that whole time. That will stress you out.
Well, then I think sleep is a big sign that you are stressed. If your body's in fight or flight, that point, like you mentioned, it can't shut down, get that deep delta REM sleep, and you get that full charge the next day. So not only do you not get enough sleep, but now you're tired the next day.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
adds more to the fuel, more of that gas on top of stress to make that next day harder and next day. So that when you get that recharge, maybe even throughout the day too, your body has a chance to go now to reset. I've calmed my engine down. I've taken the heat off the engine. Now it can reset itself to work at a higher efficiency also.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned all those gauges. Well, we do have those available if we go to the doctor, and, there are certain tests, which if you're going every year for a health visit, well, maybe 2 years for a health visit. I mean, which for guys, for some reason, they don't
want to know.
They don't want to know. So,
we don't
but there are certain tests that you do. I mean, one that I had done was called because I'm familiar with one of the dietary supplements I take, although in your diet you should eat more fish. It was like you should have 5 to 7 servings of fruits and veggies every day. Well, who does that?
Yeah.
And you should eat more fish. Well, personally, my wife could eat fish all day. Me, not so much. Yeah. But I take an omega-3 supplement, it's a very high quality omega-3. But one of the tests that you can have done, I didn't even know about this before, I had to ask for it specifically, is omega-3 index. You have the omega-3 index done, and it'll give you a pretty good idea of how healthy your heart is. I fell into I think it was 93rd percentile, that's not correct. I fell, my results showed that I had like I think it was 93% less likelihood of having heart disease or heart attack than somebody who was not taking as much omega.
Cool.
So,
and you had this after you had the stents put in, or before the stents were put in?
Oh no, this was all after. Yeah. I had the
So you're
stents put
already,
in 2010, and I really didn't. I really didn't start Shackley products until I was until 2013, and then I began to learn about omega-3s and how important those were. I had no idea, and it
well,
was
tell me,
just
and
it was
what you tell me
I
is,
was
yeah.
just thrilling to me that I could get omega-3s without having to eat fish. So, well, I still eat
Oh,
fish, but you know,
a lot of it is not it's what they're telling us, what telling us in general is we should do more of this. But I always go, but why and why? And when you break down the minerals, vitamins, and good fats we should be taking, that's
yep,
what I think your company offers to give you that. Not that you shouldn't eat good food, but when you can't get those good foods in your body and your diet and your lifestyle, here's a way to supplement to make sure your body can stay healthy for the long run and live like someone in Bolivia where you have a good heart overall and less risk factors through the medical testing to make sure you know that your heart's good.
right, and you're absolutely right. I mean, being able to sorry, I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, just having these dietary supplements available, it's not to say, well, I don't have to eat healthy now. You know, you have to continue to eat healthy. And I just want to say, just, to be absolutely clear, Shackley products do not heal anything, but they give your body what your body needs to bring about healing. And again, it's all based on the scientific research as what works. What can you do to maybe by all natural means lower your cholesterol? You take a product, or you get vegetables with lots of stanols and sterols, which have a molecular structure very similar to cholesterol. The more of those you eat, the more the body absorbs those instead of the cholesterol. And so, it's helps to keep your level. Well, let me see. Let's just say it helps.
Even though there's
With
a ratio
lowering
of that,
cholesterol.
yeah, that cholesterol derivative or variation is inside, say, vegetables. By having more of them, now you've increased the overall amount,
Yep.
the number. Not even though it's a percentage base, you increase the amount by having that higher volume of vegetables in your diet per se.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
Jerry, how does exercise take into a portion having a healthy heart too? How does exercise important to that?
yeah. Well, I mean, and again, go back to the CDC recommendations. I mean, your heart's a muscle, obviously. So if you want to keep your muscle strong, you got to exercise a muscle. And one way to do that, and the CDC recommends 2.5 hours a week. I sometimes get that, but it's 30 minutes, 35 minutes a day. I like to walk. It doesn't take a lot of strenuous exercise. Just walk, 30, 45 minutes a day. I'm just walking the dog. And so that's very natural, very easy. I'm also participating. I won't mention the gym name because I don't want to be an endorsement or anything like that. But I go to gym once a week, and we focus on cardiovascular, weightlifting, but very, very slow out and back and that sort of thing. So I'm building muscle that way. And that's, my cardiologist was really happy about that. She said, yeah, that's a great thing to do. Because again, strengthening that muscle, it's a muscle that's, I hate to even think about how often, I see numbers sometimes about how often your heart beats. And it's like, that's kind of scary. You're really working that thing. But if you're keeping it healthy, that's the important thing. But there are some, I don't know how many doctors tell their patients who take statins that, if you're taking a statin, that has an impact on your heart, and you really ought to take a CoQ10 supplement to help to counter that. And I talk to people, and doctors don't tell them that. So,
well, doctors say get some exercise, and that's about it. So a lot of it is you're having, by breaking that 2.5 hours down a week into 30 minutes a day, you're having consistency where it becomes your habit, your routine, so your body wants to do that.
Right.
And the exercise portion is phenomenal work because, like I said, the heart's a muscle. By contracting that muscle, when you're under stress, it won't feel like stress.
All right.
It won't
Yeah.
feel like you're being stressed, and it won't affect it. Say you do have a bad night's sleep, or if you get sick, where you go off the wagon, like for me, and eat a bunch of French fries for a couple of days. At that point, it's not going to kill you because
No.
now the body can handle that stressful event. Hopefully, it's just short term.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the products I take too is a very, very powerful antioxidant. So they did a study, and it's interesting. Yeah, one of the groups in the study, they fed a McDonald's type meal
Mm.
once a day, every day. Well, no, everybody in the study did that, but then this, half the group took this antioxidant resveratrol product, and you looked at the impact on the actually they looked at is that what they looked at anyhow they looked at I forget what they looked at, but they found that the people who were taking the resveratrol, that high fat meal every day really didn't have as nearly as much effect as it did on people who weren't taking that. So the things you can do. So
Too, yeah, and if you have high fat in your blood, what happens is that becomes cholesterol, it becomes part of your risk factor for
right, yeah,
having a yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and the thing is, you have a lot of information, and obviously we can spend hours.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of it is why do you have your membership, and what does membership do that gives you more information even beyond heart health?
Membership on my website.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can sign up there. I mean, there's no cost for that. So if somebody goes on to I've got a couple websites, but the Fit for Life LLC website, you get to see my pirate friend there. But
Yeah,
you can sign up for that. I'm sorry.
it's
Yeah, you
all in
can
your
sign up
links.
for that. There's no cost. You'll likely get my weekly health and wellness email, but there's access to I have a lot of videos and um, on that site, wellness videos and a whole host of topics. Also, there's for people who are interested in doing what I do. There's also uh, videos and information there about that as well. But yeah, there is no cost. There's really no cost to anything unless if you become a client. If there's a cost, a $20 one-time fee, and you become a preferred member, which gives you a 15% discount on all the products. So I think $20 is pretty reasonable for a lifetime. So
Well, and then talk
I mean,
about your personal assessment tool too. How does that? Because I went through it. How
yeah,
does I'll tell you my experience. A great tool. It took me about maybe 5 minutes or so to get through all the questions to
yeah,
give you a sense of what I'm doing now, and over time what my body might be depleted with minerals and vitamins, and how
yeah,
to get myself back on track into a better routine of taking something that will be actually more effective and more value to my body's health.
sure. Yeah, it's a tool called Meology, but basically, and it was developed by the nutritionists, the physicians. We also have on staff Shackley, a Nobel Prize winning in science, Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn. So she participated, and I think Harvard participated in it as well, helped to develop the question. But in the background, I don't know how many millions of algorithms there are. I think it's 10 or 11 or 12 million algorithms. So it looks at each answer, and the combination of answers to determine and just incidentally, as part of that, you can also enter your DNA results from Ancestry or 23andMe or something like that. So it's really pretty personalized. And then it gives you a list of okay, here's the product we recommend based on your answers, and they're kind of in priority order. So there might be 5 or 6 or 7. I don't know how many you saw. But for it kind of fits with people's budgets. I really can't afford to buy all those, but maybe the first 3. Well, they're placed in priority order, and so that's just a great way to get started. If you do the assessment, there's no cost to do it, as you know, and if you do it, you don't have to do anything with it. If you want to buy some of the products, then I'm available to talk with you about it. I send everybody a couple of a frequently asked questions and just about how to interpret that.
Mhm.
So, but again, it's all very scientific and it's personalized to you. So you don't walk into one of those, maybe I can't mention the name, but one of those stores out there, and you walk in, it's like a lot of times there's this high school kid in there. He doesn't know anything about nutrition. So what do I take? Well, I've heard that this is good. I've heard that is. No, this is personalized to you based on your answers to the questions, including, health concerns, family history, things you're concerned about, what your health goals are, and that sort of thing. I love it because I'll be, honest, I'm not a nutritionist. I know a heck of a lot about nutrition. I've learned over the last 10 years. But to have this tool, basically, I'm totally confident I can refer people to that. And what they're going to get is the best possible recommendations for their health and where they are right now.
And I saw that too in the sense where not only does it break it down to you how to get to those supplements that someone might be deficient in, but also breaks down also the ingredients per supplement, so you actually see what it actually might be. And again, you don't have but would you rather get a vitamin that's going to help you? And when I say vitamin, a supplement that's going to help you actually your health benefit versus going to the store and getting a generic because it's cheaper. Then all of a sudden there's a health benefit. Your blood test, your echocardiogram, your problem you had with testing your blood is the same, now getting worse because now you waste your money with a false confidence that this was supposed to help you. That's what I worry about. It's not people can spend money on vitamins, right? They can spend money on trying to get healthy and supplements, but they're doing it and just throwing money away. That's what they're really doing.
They are. I know like telling the story, my daughter was getting after me to get, take a multivitamin. So I took a multivitamin. It's a very common, popular brand. And I really felt good that I was taking something, but it wasn't doing anything for me. Matter of fact, it was a multivitamin that was in the landmark study that Shackley was compared against. So, and a lot of these supplements, they're made in a laboratory. They don't have the coenzyme factors associated with it. Like the Shackley takes all organic products, but first of all, they do 350 or they test for 350 different contaminants because organic is a process, but it doesn't guarantee anything. And since they're using the organic products, they're getting what are called coenzymes, which your body needs to process those vitamins. So a lot of times you're taking these things, they're produced in a laboratory, and they're just, we're peeing them out. Let's just say that. So, and we're spending a lot of money.
So you're not absorbing them properly. At that point, there's no benefit, right? I mean, if you want to be accurate, get a blood test done, see what your blood test is deficient in, and then take vitamins, say your vitamins or Shackley vitamins, say for 2 months, maybe 3 months, and then see if your blood work actually changes. Then you will know for sure if you want to do the work that's working or not.
Right. Trust but verify,
That's the old Russian, I forgot the Russian phrase, but that's the old Russian phrase, trust but verify.
Well, that's what Ronald Reagan always said, we trust you, but we're going to verify that. So,
I remember reading his book too on that one. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is you know your stuff. If you want to become your best doctor for you, look at Jerry's information. Sign up for his membership. Again, it's free. At that point, learn how to take care of your health. Your webinars you have are from doctors, from certified people that are accountable for their knowledge. They've learned it now and become an expert because now they practice it all at the same time. Getting them from experts because they understand information and help their patients get better too.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm about to publish another blog this afternoon that addresses this as well. Just things you can do to achieve better heart health. It's not difficult. It's going to cost you some money, but you got to build habits.
It costs you in time if you want to stay healthy. And I think Jerry's done a good job to give people the evidence as your advocate, as your, I want to call it free coach, to get you that information to just use it and get healthy and listen and spend the time so you don't have an unnecessary event that now your quality of life has been depleted and now you're stuck on medications. Now you can't get better. You're just trying to stay alive.
Yeah. Exactly right.
And Jerry, what's your takeaway? What's something simple someone can do today to start having a healthier heart for the rest of their lives? What's the one thing if you
Well,
want to throw it out
yeah. Well, again, sorry, it's going to be boring and redundant, but you know,
there? Mm-hmm.
get out there, you know, 5, 6 times a week and just walk 30 minutes, 45 minutes. There must be somewhere you can walk that's hard, you can buy a treadmill, but of course, most of those end up as clothes hangers,
Yes, I
so,
love that. I
you know,
love that.
uh, of course, in some climates where it's really cold, then yeah, maybe you want to go to a gym, but or maybe you want to have a treadmill, but just 30, 45 minutes a day. I mean, that's one of the best things you can do. And then, pay attention to what you're eating. I mean, I know fast food is good. I love fried foods, and I have to really be careful that I don't, that I limit myself. Or if I order fish and chips, I mostly eat the fish. For some reason, it tastes better if it's fried, even if you don't eat the crust. But just be careful about what you eat. Think about it, and just think about your heart. Your heart really is going to benefit from you just getting some exercise and eating more healthily, and supplementing with dietary supplements, because you can't,
Yeah, it's understanding where
particularly in
you're.
today's with the standard American diet or the SAD diet, you're just not getting you're not getting the nutrition that like our grandparents did. I mean, the food is processed. Anyhow, don't get me started down that path, but you're just not getting the nutrition you need from the food like we used to. So dietary supplementation I think is critical if you want to stay healthy.
If you talk to cardiologists, which I sometimes do, they say people don't understand our foods do not have the nutrients and vitamins that our body needs to stay healthy, no matter how healthy we eat. So having a
Yep.
supplement is your best insurance policy. A supplement is best insurance policy, a high quality one, to keep your body
Yep.
healthy long term. So not only not false confidence, real confidence. The blood will come back better. That EKG
Yep.
you had 3 years ago, when you do it again, will be better because you're doing the work. You're doing the homework to allow you to not only learn more, but also act more in a healthier heart way.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to buy supplements, and like you say, do them for 3 months and see if there's any change. Shaklee has 100% money back guarantee. So, I mean, if you, for whatever reason, you decide, well, it's not working, or I don't like it, or whatever, you just send it back an empty bottle and they'll give you your money back. So, I mean,
Boom.
nothing,
Easy.
nothing, nothing to lose in that.
You got to remember to take them every day. That's all you got to do. Remember, you have to do your own homework.
Well,
take them every day.
Yeah.
I hope it's easy for people, but sometimes you forget. I don't know.
I know. No, I got a guy who buys a 30-day pack of a vitamin strip that we have, and every 4 months he replaces it.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't remember. I just can't remember. If you want, I can text you at 5 a.m. every morning and remind you. So.
Inconsistency, you're right. And to end the show too, I'm going to have you take the earphones off in a second. We're going to take a quick picture, so I'm going to use that as our if you want to call it an image for the load up too. All right. So
okay,
watch the show, my friend. Take that off, and I'll give you the thumbs up when we're done. Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
All right, sir. We're good to go.